Welcome back. Leap Enforcer Podcast, episode 11. Just wrapped up week one of the NFL season. NFL season is back. I am so glad it's back. It's my favorite time of the year. We know fall's coming, just that time of year. I'm going to jump into the games from the weekend. I'll get to the Packers game last. I know Lions fans, they don't want anything to do with it, but I'm going to get to that game. But let's just jump into the games. First game of the week one was Cowboys-Eagles. Cowboys fought a little bit more than I thought they would. Everybody talked about the run game being way better with Kenny Clark being way better, but it really wasn't. Kenny Clark played well, but they got a lot more issues than just stopping the run. But they did look solid against Philly. But Philly I think is still one of the best teams in football, if not the best team on both sides of the ball. So they're going to be a tough beat for anybody. So, but the Eagles pulled that one off 24-20. Second game, Chargers and Chiefs. Swifties did not like Herbert. Herbert was slinging it. He looked he may have been one of the best quarterbacks this weekend. I think he's going to have a monster season. I've said that on here already. I think he's going to have a monster season, especially with Harbaugh kind of in his ear and kind of, the QB whisperer that he is as a coach. I think Harbaugh's going to have a great season. So Kansas City just looks a little bit like lost on offense. I think they're going to have to go make a move with Worthy going out. Rashee Rice, I think he's suspended for 6 games, I believe. I think it's just there for Tyreek. Go make the move, trade for Tyreek. Miami's on a fire sale right now. I'm going to assume at some point here soon. I think their coach would be gone. I think their GM would be gone. I think they should start trading players away. But I think Kansas City, I think they're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to go get some offensive pieces to throw the ball to. Because right now they got, Juju and Hollywood. And Kelsey is just I feel like he's kind of a shell of himself anymore. But Chargers pulled that one off 27-21. Tampa, Atlanta, this was kind of one of the shockers for me. I just thought Tampa was a lot better than Atlanta would have been. Tampa's one of my sleeper teams this year. Baker a sling it. They got Mike Evans. They got, they have a good run game with Bucky Irving. They got a solid defense. I kind of felt like this game was going to be a little bit, not 23-20. I had it more like 31-20, 31-17, something like that. But good game though. Cincy, Cleveland, that game was 17-16. Chase, I don't know. He had like 6 fantasy points, so he didn't really do too much, from my understanding. I'm trying to remember what he had specifically, but I know watching that game, the defense for Cincy, they don't look great, but the offense didn't look great with, as much as you thought it would with Burrow and Higgins and Chase. It just seems like that offense should have been a little bit more, clicking a little bit more against Cleveland. Cleveland's defense isn't bad, but I don't know. I thought Cincy would kind of come in and roll that game. But again, that kind of goes back. I don't put a lot of thought into the first few weeks of football. A lot of these guys haven't played their ones. Some of these teams, this is the first time they've had their starters out there. So you got a lot of, offensive lines meshing, defensive lines meshing. You got a lot of coaching changes. You got implementing new, play calls. This is a lot goes into the first few weeks of football. So again, I'm going to take it back. I think Cincy will get better, but we'll see. Because that defense, they got Trey Hendrickson back, but they don't really have a lot on defense, so they're going to have to outscore everybody. But Miami, Indy. Miami looks terrible. Indy 33-8. They made Daniel Jones, look like Mahomes a couple years ago. It's just, it's crazy. They made him look like Mahomes in his peak. It's just, I don't know what is going on in Miami, but I feel like they're going to end up firing everybody and start trading some players away. I think Tyreek ends up in KC by week 5, maybe if that long, week 4. Next game, Patriots, Raiders. I didn't watch a lot of that game. I caught bits and pieces of it on Red Zone. But Geno had a massive day. He threw for 362 and, just chucking the ball around. 20-13, Raiders pulled that one off. I had the Patriots winning that. I just thought Vrabel would have had those guys come out play a little bit better on defense. And I don't know. I don't see the Raiders being a great team. I know they're the sleeper pick for some people, but that's just my 2 cents on it. I just didn't see them being that good this season. Cardinals Saints. Cardinals pulled that one off 20-13. Those teams are just who we think they are. I don't think they're that. Neither one of them are going to do much. So I'm not going to really talk about that. Steelers Jets. Vintage Aaron, Aaron, 4 TDs, beats his old team. Well, one of his old teams. That game was pretty fun to watch. I pretty much watched that whole game, and it's fun to see Aaron kind of back to himself. You get that vintage Aaron a little bit where he just he can just still sling it and go win a game, and that's what he did against the Jets. And I know that was kind of personal with him from like some of the post game pressers and things like that. So that was fun to watch. Washington beat up on the Giants. Giants defense was okay. Washington just kind of did what they wanted to do, though, for the most part. Washington's got a lot of firepower. It's going to be a hell of a game this Thursday, Washington, Green Bay, which I'll get into that later. So Washington looks good, as you would think. Panthers, Jags, I'm not going to get into that one much. Jags looked okay. Trevor Lawrence looked pretty solid. Etienne looked really good for them. Maybe this is a bounce-back year. I know they just Jacksonville traded Tank Bigsby to Philly. So maybe they got faith in Etienne. Maybe they're seeing something in training camp and week one that they trust him. So Jags pulled that off 26-10. Broncos, Titans. Man, Titans had a chance to win this game or tie the game up at the end, and Broncos were able to pull it off. A lot of people are high on the Broncos, but, we'll see what happens with them. I just don't know if Bo Nix is going to hit a sophomore slump. They look solid. They got a hell of a defense. But that game was a little closer than anticipated. Niners, Seahawks. Niners pulled that one off. Man, they had quite a few injuries. I know they lost Kittle for a little while. Purdy got banged up. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think 49ers, are going to have a good season. They just got to stay healthy. Texans, Rams. Rams won that game. What a low-scoring game. Who would have thought that? Rams, Texans, I would have thought would have been at least 27-24 or something like that, not 14-9. So both offenses look kind of stagnant. Defenses were okay. Based on the score, defenses should have been like crazy good, but it just there was no flow on offense, I don't think, for either team. I don't know what Houston's going to do with no Joe Mixon. I felt like he was such a pivotal part of that team last year, and he's a hell of a running back. I think without that run game there, relying on like a Nick Chubb who's coming off injury, and I don't think that Stroud has the protection that he had, losing the pieces they've lost. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch. I think the Rams will get better as the season goes on. Stafford didn't practice really hardly at all, from my understanding, in the preseason. So I think they'll get a little bit better. Ravens, Bills, holy hell, what a matchup. That game was – I thought the game was over, and I almost went to bed when Ravens went up. I think the Ravens went up like 15 – I think it was something like that, 15-16. They were up a couple scores. And then Derrick Henry fumbled that ball, and then everything just went sideways for them. Bills-Ravens are that's my AFC title game. I'm still going to roll with Baltimore, but the Bills were able to pull this one off, 41-40. We'll see how the season goes. I like Josh Allen. I like Lamar Jackson. I feel like that's the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. It's hard not to say that because they're, MVP candidates every year. So I don't know. That was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a comeback by Josh Allen. Hell of a, play on defense. Bosa is the one that knocked the ball out for the fumble recovery on Derrick Henry. That was the game changer right there. That's when they were able to come back. So great game. Probably the best game of the weekend. Might be one of the best games this year already. It don't matter if it was week one. We might look back at this game and it's got some playoff implications, I'm sure, because I feel like Baltimore and Buffalo, they're probably going to end up with similar records. So, these games matter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these two teams who I think are clearly 1A and 1B in the AFC. And then the Monday night game, Vikings-Bears, that was a snooze fest for the whole first half. It is just boring. I think what was it? McCarthy was like 1 for 2 in the first half. Second half, completely different game. I'll admit McCarthy looked solid. I mean, he made some throws that surprised me a little bit. I'm still not sold on McCarthy. I think that was a hell of a game for him. It was, he did it on the big stage in his first NFL game. So I'll give him credit. Hats off to him. Caleb Williams, man, just when you think he's like, he's going to get the ball out on time, he starts running around, dancing around, sacks, throwing the ball away, not getting back to the line of scrimmage. It's intentional grounding. It's knucklehead plays, and you could just watch Ben Johnson during the game, and he's just like, what are you doing? Like, it's just the same old Caleb Williams. So I just wonder, I think Ben Johnson will get him on the same page, but I just wonder how coachable Caleb Williams is. And the reason I say that is because one of the first things you noticed with Goff when Ben Johnson came to Detroit was he was able to get him to get the ball out quick, not holding on to the ball, not taking sacks, not taking, dumb throws, like just get the ball out, take the underneath, take the short routes, hit your tight end, hit the, running back out of the backfield. Caleb Williams still is dancing around trying to get big plays. So I think Ben Johnson will get through to him. I hope he does, because I don't think Caleb Williams is going to have much of an NFL career if he doesn't. He's got to get rid of the ball. I know dancing around, you can make some big plays, but you have a strong percentage of better throws when it's just getting the ball out of your hands in a second or two, not allowing that pass rush to get to you. And it's very frustrating for pass rushers when they can't get to you. Like, you're getting the ball out quick. I think that's why Goff was so successful with Detroit the last couple of years. But we'll see what happens. It's early in the season again. Like, I don't put a lot of stock in these first few weeks, but Vikings pulled that off 27-24. Good come behind, win. It was all Bears first half, all Vikings second half. So let's get to the Packers and Lions. I did not see this game going like this. I didn't. I know that we took a top 5 defense that we already had and dropped Micah Parsons in the middle of it. And he played, I think it was like 44 or 45% of snaps. It was like 29 snaps out of, I think, 65 defensive plays. So they brought him in and used him when they thought they should, passing downs and things like that. So they definitely made he definitely made a big impact right off the jump. Watching him and Rashawn Gary is going to be something that I look forward to every single week. I can't tell you the last time I look forward to a defense for Green Bay more than the offense. I'm going to admit that. I love watching Jordan Love sling it. I mean, shit, he threw a pass to 10 different players against the Lions. So he just spread the ball out, and they've been really fun to watch. We weren't able to really get the run game going, but, Love was consistent the first half, played very well, no turnovers. Side note, seeing Romeo Doubs hype and going crazy after he makes some catches makes me happy, because I feel like Romeo Doubs has not been happy in Green Bay at times. He's not showed up. He's been sent home. There's been just things going on with Doubs, and I don't know what it is, but this is the first I've seen this fire from Doubs. Like, he made a couple catches and he jumped up and he was just like let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got this. And it that just impacts an offense and a locker room so much when you see players like that. Like, hey, let's do this, So going into the back to the defense thing. No, I'm sorry. It's just, I look forward to watching the defense right now more than the offense, and it's because when you seen Parsons and you see Rashawn Gary line up on both sides, and that pocket just closes. It just closes quick. Goff couldn't go left. He can't run left or right. And he was frazzled the whole time. Like, didn't know what to do, throwing the ball on the ground, overthrows, always getting pressured. It just, I think the thing that people fail to realize with Micah Parsons, it's not all about sacks. People are like, oh, he had 12 sacks. Well, yeah, he missed multiple games last year. I think like 5 games last year. But it's always about sacks for people. But there's so much in the stats that you're not going to see that Micah Parsons affects. The Jared Goff interception, that was on Micah Parsons. He got through the line and was coming right at Goff's face. Goff had to get rid of it way quicker than he wanted to, and it was picked off. He didn't see Evan Williams back there getting ready to go for the ball. The amount of double teams that Micah Parsons takes, there's a shot out there where they have two offensive linemen and they are double teaming him. They got their hands under his helmet, like under his face mask, like pushing up. Should have been a penalty. It wasn't, but that's just the effect that Micah Parsons has. All that does is open up everything else. Wyatt played well. Van Ness played excellent. Rashawn Gary is going to get a lot of single coverage. He's not going to be doubled because Micah's going to be doubled, so it's going to open up stuff for Gary. You know, Colby Wooden played extremely well. Like, our whole defense was just ready to go, and I really hope that's the defense we get all season, and it wasn't just like this, like, hype train, like, hey, we got Parsons, like, you know, we're playing the Lions, like, let's show out, because we haven't been able to beat the Lions the last couple of years, and we got, you know, this new toy. So, like, I just hope this is the team that we get to see moving forward, because if this defense plays like this and it allows Jordan Love to just go out there and be a consistent, like, player, like quarterback, run the offense, take a couple shots, you know, move the ball. You don't have to put up 35 points to win. Just go out there, don't turn the ball over, manage this offense. With all the weapons we have, we could run the ball with Josh Jacobs. When Marshawn Lloyd comes back, we could run the ball hopefully with him. You know, Wilson plays really well. Like, let's run the ball. Our tight ends are both healthy, Kraft and Musgrave. Like, they're a hell of a blocker. Like, both of them are both great blockers for tight ends. Both can catch the ball. And our offense, man, we have so many, like, receivers right now, and Watson's still out. So Wicks played well. Dobbs played well. Golden only had, I think he had, 2 catches? I think they'll get him more and more involved, which I think he's going to be the clear-cut one. Jayden Reed looked really good coming off that foot injury, the ankle injury. So, I mean, we have so many weapons on offense, but it's so nice because in the past couple of years, it seemed like we had to get Jordan Love to come out and, like, hey, we need 35 to beat this team. Hey, and when we start getting up against these really good teams, the Detroits, the Phillies, the Washington, like these really good NFC teams that we're going to have to see in the playoffs, and you, like, dominate a game like we did against Detroit, it's going to be, if we can continue that, we're going to be a tough out. Like, we can be a very dangerous team. I know we're like the a lot of people say the Packers are the favorites in the NFC. Again, I don't want to put a whole lot of, like, are we this good? Or is Detroit that bad? They lost 2 coordinators, offensive and defensive coordinators. Both their interior their guards are both, new. They're, they moved Ragnow over to, they lost Ragnow. They moved Glasgow over to center. Their left guard, right guard, they're both new. You got Mahogany and Ratledge. So their interior offensive line, it was terrible. It was terrible. And they don't have a pass rush right now because Hutch, first, game back on that broken leg, and they're relying on Davenport, which I don't understand why they wouldn't go make a move to get another edge rusher, because you can't any quarterback, but Jordan Love, he's sitting back there for 4 or 5 seconds, like patting the ball, like, oh man, like, where am I going to go? And it just allows receivers to get open. So I want to really hope that we're that good, but I also don't know if the Lions are that bad. They didn't play any of their starters in the first, preseason, in any of the preseason games, which I don't agree with. And I think that's what comes back to, why some of these teams start off so slow. Kansas City starts off slow a lot of times. They typically will play their players a little bit, but they just seem to start off really slow, but they're always there in the end. So I don't think the Lions are that bad. I still got them second in the division. I still got them at 10-7, making the playoffs. I got us at 11-6, maybe 12-5 after seeing what we just seen. But I think a true test for Green Bay is going to be on Thursday when we play Washington. But it's really going to be, it's just when you look back at the Lions game, like, we held them less than 50 yards rushing. They were one of the top rushing teams in the league last year. They were so creative. That offensive coordinator that's calling the plays for Detroit, they were so stagnant. It's almost like you knew what they were going to do. And then I seen some stat. It was like, I think Jahmyr Gibbs had like 10 catches for less than like 50 yards or something crazy like that. That number may not be 100% accurate, but it was something absurd like that. So I don't know, man. This defense is going to be damn good. There's no question about it. Are they going to be able to hold all these, top offenses to 50 yards rushing, and force turnovers and don't give the quarterback any time to throw the ball? They can, but these guys got to stay healthy. And I love the pass rush because it takes the focus off of some of our corners. And, I feel like that's the one position we lack the most in Green Bay. We haven't seen Hobbs yet. He was out against the Lions. He's supposed to possibly be back for the Commanders game on Thursday. Bo Melton got hurt. Then we were left with, Nixon and Valentine. And then we had Micah Robinson as well. So I like what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing. Especially being here in Michigan, having to deal with all these Lions fans. I was catching so much shit the last couple of years, and it was finally nice to give it back a little bit. And it was in such a convincing fashion that it made it that much sweeter. So I hope this is the Detroit team that we get all season. I mean, if that's the Lions team we get all season, it is what it is. I mean, it's cool seeing them be competitive, but I don't know. Whatever. I'm just hoping this is a pack team that we get all season. And that's without Parsons being fully, a fully go because he's only practiced for a week. So I think as he works himself in, man, this defense is going to be dangerous. And if Love can just stay healthy, get these guys involved, get Watson back midseason, continue to improve, and he stays up, stays clean, finds open receivers, doesn't turn the ball over, I think the sky's the limit for this team. I mean, my pick was Packers-Ravens, and I'm not veering from that after week one. So jumping into Thursday's game, we got one of the hottest teams in football the teams that finished the hottest last year with Washington, and one of the best young quarterbacks in the league, Jaden Daniels. So that team, they're another one that could come out of the NFC, So when you think about the top teams in the NFC, you think of Detroit, you think of Washington, you think of Philly, Green Bay, maybe Tampa. Those are my top five, I would say. We just dominated against the Lions. If we can come out and make a statement win against Washington and dominate in a similar fashion, then I'm going to say that this is a hell of a lot more legit team than people are really wanting to give some credit for. And I know people are giving us all the credit in the world for week one, but there's a lot of like doubters still. Again, I don't put a lot of faith in the first couple weeks, but if you come out and you dominate two of the best playoff teams in the NFC last year, and you dominate them and you beat them, hey, sky's the limit. So this Washington team is good. They got a hell of an offense. Debo played extremely well last weekend for them. Kind of looked like the peak Debo in when he was with San Fran, and McLaurin didn't do a lot. They were still able to win the game pretty easily. They got a running back by committee. They don't have the greatest run game, but Jaden Daniels adds so much to that run game that he's dynamic. He's very dynamic. He's kind of like a Lamar Jackson-esque. So I'm going to go into this game confident. If I'm Green Bay, I know we got, I know Aaron Banks and Zach Tom are both kind of iffy. Hobbs is still iffy. But Kennard came in and played extremely well. So did Jordan Morgan. Both came in and took those spots on the line, and they both played really well. It's like we didn't miss a beat. So I'm glad we went and got Kennard from the Eagles when we did, because it added some depth to our offensive line. And the way you win these games in Super Bowls is just like Philly did last year. You win at the line of scrimmage. They had the best offensive and defensive lines in football pretty much last year. And you win in the trenches. So I'm glad Goot went and got, an extra, lineman like this that could come in, because we needed him in week one. We're probably going to need him in week two. So I'm really looking forward to this season even more after seeing how Parsons and this defense, with him and Gary, man, these guys are going to be fun to watch this year. So Thursday Night Football, Commanders, Packers. I wish I was there. I had some family stuff going on, or I was going to go to that game, but my uncle passed. Rest in peace to him, man. I'm gonna miss Uncle Phil. So I got that going on this week. But anyways, my game call. Let's go. Packers, I think, move the ball a little bit more. The offense is a little bit more in tune against, for week 2. So I'm going to go 28-17 Pack. I think Jane Daniels and that crew, I think they're going to get a little bit more moving on offense than Detroit did. I think they're going to be able to, to move the ball. They're going to get, they're going to score here and there. I know the Lions got a garbage touchdown at the end. We really held in really 6 points, and then it just playing prevent, and they ended up getting a lucky hell of a catch by Tesla at that game, by the way. But that was like a 4th down, and they just chucked it to the end zone. But anyways, Lions, Lions, Packers, Commanders on Thursday night should be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be a telltale, on both those teams, because both those teams a lot of people have at the top of the NFC. So it'll be interesting to see, how this game goes. But I'm going to roll my Packers 28-17. I think Parsons has 2 sacks. He has 2. I think we get to Daniels. I know he's elusive, but at the same time, like, we can close that pocket quick. And I'm saying I think they both end up with 2 sacks, and we get some pressures up front. We're able to stop the run game. And I also think Josh Jacobs gets rolling this week, extends that consecutive streak of touchdowns scored in games. And, man, I think we get the run game going. I hopefully we get Golden going, and Love, man, just stop making these little, like, decisions, man, where you just want to just chuck the ball because you're about to get sacked. Throw it out of bounds. Get it out of bounds. But limit turnovers. I think we can win this game. I know we're favored by, I think, 3.5. I think we should cover that. I'm not don't listen to me with betting. I don't want you losing your money on me, but I do think that we should be able to handle Washington if we come out like we did against the Lions. So anyways, if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Episode 11, I'm going to throw it up on YouTube. It'll be on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and I think that's it. And Spotify. So give me a follow. Leave me a comment. Again, some of you, the funniest ones are the ones that have no profile picture, and you're like, the account is like user 178562734. Like, I'm not going to respond to like some of these little trolls. I just don't. I don't have the time. I'm busy as it is, and I'll sit here and I'll debate football with you, but I'm not going to take it I'm not going to get personal about it. So I appreciate the comment, but I'm not going to comment back on some of this stuff, and call me names and stuff. That's cool, man. I just do this for fun. I'm not an expert. I know the game. I watch the game. I follow the game. I am a diehard fan. Some people consider me super fan, but Leap Enforcer, super fan. No, I'm just kidding. And by the way, thank you to everybody that has nominated me for NFL Fan of the Year for the Packers. I've had quite a few people reach out. That would be insane, but I do appreciate it. I've had a few people say, hey, I threw you out there. Like, I think you'd be like a great representative. I do too. I think I'd be a great representative. I mean, I'm a diehard Packer fan living in Lion Country. Like, I go to work every day and I wear a Packer hat literally every day to work right now. And I do all season. I catch shit every day, and whatever. Go Pack, go. Thanks for watching, and let's pull this game off tomorrow. I'll be back on probably Friday, Saturday. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good night.